Hello there, beautiful. My name is Melissa, and I am also known as the Taropist, and I am going to be your tarot card reader. Guys, we are going to do a quick whatever comes out reading for the collective today. So this can resonate for any placement of any zodiac sign at any time. I am going to go into a little introduction about myself and the channel and the personal readings. However, if you are not interested or you've already heard all of this before, I will leave a timestamp in the pinned comment below so that you can click on that and jump right into the beginning of the reading. For those of you who are interested in knowing a little bit more about myself, I again am the Taropist, and anything that you would ever need to know about my channel or myself, you can find either in the description box below, the channel description, or the community tab. And guys, you can certainly always check out my website, which is www.thetaropist.com. And I am currently closed for Zoom and FaceTime readings. However, I am still available for pre-recorded and email readings, and anything that you would need to know about those are going to be listed in the description box below. If you have any questions, guys, there's also an email address down there in the description box. You're welcome to email me with any questions. Guys, personal readings are going to be the most powerful way, or should say, the personal readings are going to be the only guaranteed way that I will pick up on your personal energy. However, if you are unable to or uninterested in any type of personal reading, but you would like me to be more likely to pick up on your personal situation in my collective readings, I do channel energy, of course, because it is for a collective audience. There's no guarantee that I will channel your particular situation, but it's some easy ways that you can make it more likely that I will pick up on your energy are by liking or commenting on any of the videos or the community tab posts. You can certainly always share any of my content. And my personal favorite, and I think the most powerful way for me to pick up on your particular situation in my collective readings, is by you clicking that little subscribe button below. If you are going to subscribe to the channel, guys, and you would like to be notified when I do upload or go live in the future, then make sure that you have your notifications set to all. That is about it, folks. Let's get rocking here. We're going to start out with these Moonology Oracle cards, and then we'll get some tarot from the Light Seers Tarot as well, okay? Let's see what we get here, guys. I want to say, oh, haters gonna hate, ballers wanna ball. What song is this? Haters wanna. Let's see what we get here. I can't. There's something about, by the way, it's something about people really justifying their being a hater, right? So they'll have like these valid reasons in their mind, or this narrative in their mind that makes the hatred that they have for somebody justified, but the real hatred comes from an admiration. So prosperity lies ahead. Whatever you're doing right now or creating right now, I do feel like there's something. Yeah, just stay in your own lane, or not lane. Well, yeah, I do want you to stay in your own lane. I think that's classic advice. That's very beneficial for all of us. But this is like, don't get sucked into whatever this is. Okay. I do feel like somebody is trying to antagonize you, and or several people. And I even want to say there's something here about you feeling like, first of all, they are intimidated by you. And then I feel like there's something weird going on here, and I'm going to figure out more. It says a time to give rather than take. Give it back to them. No, don't do that. Okay. This is what they're actually saying. I'm not that. Don't follow that advice there. Basically, because this is a test to see if you've actually raised your frequency or not. Okay. And don't get wrapped into a situation where I want to say it that you think. I do feel like you have some haters or some people. I don't know, wherever this may be, at work, this may be in your, you might be online or in the public eye. Of course, if you're in the public eye, you have haters. That's just classic. Anytime people feel drawn to your energy, but they either don't agree with the message that you're sending, or the message that you're sending, I want to say subconsciously, because I don't even think a lot of people are aware of the reality that the messages that they're most intimidated by, I can't spit these words out, are usually either a message that does resonate, or a message that they're afraid will kind of put the spotlight on some illusions that they are currently living within or something like that. Okay. You are good enough. So I want to say you're working on some self worth things here with this situation, but they are saying something about you are. Oh God, this happened to me when I first got on to the internet, and it was YouTube, and it was very intimidating, and I was very unhealthy and very unhealed and very ungrounded. By the way, they are saying something about grounding. So, um, I am not perfect, and I have my Mars in the first house, and I can certainly still get very fiery very fast, but this isn't like that. This isn't like you're getting fiery fast. This is like it's starting to eat away at your soul or your psyche here. And they are saying that there's a need for grounding. So, what that means is not you need to come down to earth, come down to reality, weirdo. It's not like that. That's not what grounding means. Although, I want to say when I was really ungrounded, that's what I thought grounding meant. Okay. When people told me inadvertently, like kind of like in a very indirect way that I needed to do some grounding, um, I took it offensively because I thought that it meant come down to reality, you delusional psychopath. Okay. And by the way, when you're going through an awakening, everything you can't decide what's real, what's fake, what's, kind of all of a sudden these gifts are wide open and you have a lot of information coming in. And it's really hard to decipher even what you're seeing in the physical world and what you're hearing or feeling from the fifth dimension. So I do feel like you're very gifted, and I feel like you're going through a time where, and it's just a need to get out. By the way, let's talk about the grounding. I can't seem to spit the messages out, and I love you so much. Whatever this is, though, feet in the ground immediately is what they're saying. This is actually called, especially if you're spiritually gifted, psychic in any way, there is a strong need for you to connect to the earth's core to expel dark energies or any kind of energies being sent your way, negative energies being sent your way, and it kind of cleanse up your aura. If you can get into a body of water, this is the best way to clean your aura, by the way, and your emotional body. But if some places in the world it's still warm enough to go in the water. So if you are in a place that's warm enough to go in the water, very important. Like if you can get to salt water right now, it will nourish you in ways you didn't know were possible. So that is a really I always think I need to move down to a more something nearer to the ocean. And I have a lot of lakes here, land of 10,000, by the way, but they're nothing compared to the way you feel, the invigoration you feel by walking or jumping, diving and submerging yourself into an ocean, salt water, sea water, whatever, a body of salt water is what I'm trying to say there. But so if you are not near an ocean and you are feeling very ungrounded, getting out into nature and getting it's not just getting out into nature. While the fresh air can be very beneficial for you as well, and doing some breath work out there in nature, not in your home, can also be very beneficial. Getting the sun on your skin as much as you can tolerate, depending on the time, or your location and how cold it is. As much of your body's skin that can be exposed to the sun, even if the sun isn't direct and there is cloud coverage. So getting out into nature again, what I'm trying to spit out here is that the portals to your energy body are on you, the soles of your feet and the palms of your hand. So getting your bare feet into the ground, or at least it's too cold to do that. It's not too cold to do that ever. By the way, there's nowhere in the world that is too cold to get your feet onto the ground for 1 minute, or for 30 seconds or 10 seconds. I don't really care, whatever, as long as you can handle it. If you can get it out there for 30 minutes, this is going to be very powerful. Could get you through a few weeks of grounding, by the way. So suck in as much of that energy as you can, and then also expel any of these, whatever this is. It feels like people are coming for you. I want to say you feel like people that aren't coming for you are coming for you. And this is because you can feel the energy of the attacks. I don't believe in black magic or psychic attacks, but you can certainly, especially if you're a psychic, you can certainly feel the energies being sent your way. So it's, you can feel people's emotions, and you can certainly feel people's darkness and hatred for you, or jealousy is what I'm actually getting here. So I feel like there are people that are jealous of you. And I do feel like that you're having a hard time because of the lack of grounding here, deciphering who's sending you that negative energy or who's jealous of you. Okay. What I'm trying to say is when I first got on here, it felt like I was being set up to blame the wrong people, and I have not made any amends about this yet, but I felt attacked by everyone because I was very psychically aware of the energies being sent my way, and then it felt like everybody that tried to communicate with me or connect with me were trying to attack me. Maybe they were. I don't think so, though, now that I'm a little more grounded, and it has taken several years to clean my brain chemistry up via nutritional foods, nutrient dense foods, and of course, doing a lot of grounding, trying to get out. Some days, some weeks, some months, I'm out there every day and several times a day or all day. And sometimes I'm out there once or twice a month. Okay. So this is like as much as you can get out there, do it. I promise you that it will give you some relief. Okay. I'm getting like, I'm watching you kind of smell flowers, hold the stems, getting sucking in as much nature and as much life force energy as you possibly can. If you do eat root vegetables, this is going to be very helpful in grounding. I was a sweet potato-aholic when I learned how well they made me feel stable. Okay. Vitamin D3 and K2 supplements. This keeps coming through, and I'm so sorry about that, but is actually how, if you're having some what normal people would call like paranoid thoughts and things like that, feeling like the world is against you, feeling attacked, feeling like you're being watched, feeling like you're hacked, things like this. By the way, this can happen. So there is like a need to be aware of the possibilities, and people have hacked my phones and things like that. But being letting it control your vibration is where we're trying to get away from. Okay, so that's okay. It's like nothing this world can know about you can expose you for anything. You're a good person. And let's get more though, because they are saying um, just some good grounding and some good nutrition is going to actually get you out of this. But some vitamin D3 and K2, by the way. So there is actual scientific proof if you're not into spirituality and things like that, or nature, I should say, because I'm really not a spiritualist. I'm more of a naturalist. And I believe that we were all designed to live out in nature. And so our bodies are having a hard time navigating this very matrical world. That's not a word, but I'm going to use it from now on. The matrix. So the Eight of Pentacles here is like you've done so much work, and you're not losing that, by the way. You're not moving backwards by any means of the word, but when you are psychically connected, there is a lot of a need to stay very connected to the earth. These are natural gifts, right? From so it's the only thing that can kind of feed or power these gifts and help you to use them correctly are going to be things that come from nature. And of course, getting out in the sunshine is actually the best way to get vitamin D. If that's hard for you at this time, so as much time as you can spend out in the sun with your bare feet on the ground, that's number one. There are other ways to supplement if you are unable to get out in the sun, if it's freezing cold where you are or whatever it is, snow on the ground. Um, Still, I want you to get your hands on your palms or your hands on trees, even if it's freezing cold outside. Bundle up, put your hands on some trees, okay? If you're feeling very ungrounded. But also some vitamin D3 and K2 supplements will be very helpful, because actually a vitamin D deficiency is what kind of I want to say, how do I say this? The chemistry of your brain, it throws off the chemistry of your brain. And most importantly, your fear center, where all of the paranoia lives. So again, when you're feeling very ungrounded, vitamin D is actually what you're missing. So grounding, while very, absolutely there's energy out there for you, but mostly we're deficient in the vitamin D department. Okay. Because again, humans were designed, just like all other creatures of the earth, were designed to live outside in nature. So when you take somebody or something out of their natural element, it certainly does throw their entire design off. Okay, so I do feel like hermit mode is what you're actually experiencing as well. So a need to kind of, I want to say, when this energy comes out, it's talking about getting grounded actually, and really doing some soul searching and connecting with your own soul and connecting with nature, and staying away from humans as much as possible as you possibly can, right? Because we all, including myself, have our own perspectives here. And when there are so many perspectives out there being thrown at you, it can get very overwhelming. And if you are very psychically gifted, the 3D humans will call this neurodivergent, or on the spectrum, or ADHD, or all of these psychic gifts that have been misdiagnosed as some sort of disorder, because third dimensional humans just couldn't comprehend it or understand it. And again, I do believe in a balance of both realities, right? Because I do understand that a lot of our damage is psychological. But the ways that we've learned to treat these psychological, again, these kind of psychological issues that come along with abuse, and of course, just being psychically aware of things that others aren't, and the shame that comes along with the way that people make you feel when you can see things that aren't visible to the naked eye. So, so a need to stay away from unlike-minded people. Okay, something about this, and I want to say that you maybe have been consuming information from people who aren't grounded, or might be psychically gifted, or might be evil. Okay, because there is a lot of that out here as well. Where if the message is constantly so dark that it makes you feel paranoid, and you find yourself looking around at the fucking corners of your rooms after you're done watching a tarot card reader to see if there's cameras or something, this is an indicator that you're in the wrong space and you're listening to the wrong information and you're tapping into the wrong energies. These people, by the way, maybe they are very gifted, but they're not grounded, and they definitely, not everybody has a good heart with these gifts. So there are gifted people out there who have bad intentions. So they're just saying clean up your circle, your energy field. So kind of getting rid of any of the, well, it just says there's a need to kind of isolate at this time, because I feel like you're having a hard time deciphering who's good, who isn't, who is for you, who isn't, who has ill intent, and who doesn't. And this is a really hard place to be, because I think, like, I posted something the other day that was just talking about, because God has given me some clarity. Sometimes it's via watching somebody else go through what I've gone through. So sometimes I learn from somebody going through something I've gone through, and sometimes I learn from going through it myself. I did learn a lot from that experience, by the way. Mostly, I just learned that the more I took care of my own mental health, the less terrified I was of the gifts that I had. So something about this, but there is a need for you to at least isolate from some of the negative energies that you are being provided at this time. If this is like a work environment, by the way, if you're in a third dimensional work environment and you have to make a paycheck, so that's a lot harder. And I've had to go through that as well, where I just had to keep going, even though I could feel every snare, every glare. I don't think a snare is what I meant, but and every snicker, every laugh, every mock, every, people trying to humiliate me because they were humiliated. It's really the only people that do this kind of stuff are people that feel shame. They're ashamed of themselves and they want others to feel that shame. So they try to put it on other people. And they're usually going to target a good person who happens to be admirable in the same right. So a brilliant but good person, softer people, gentle people, they will target to try to transfer this shame and pain. Now, working on your auric field, like I said, by grounding is actually how you can protect yourself from these energies. Even if they are still making fun of you and mocking you, there's like a force field around you, an energetic force field, and we're working on having a strong vibration. While you might be vibrating high, although I do think that when you have a weak high vibration, it's really easy for people to bring you down to their frequency. So getting your auric field or your aura stronger is going to entail you getting out in nature and making sure that you're eating a lot of nutrient dense foods, and remembering that this is just an experience that we're all having here and nobody has power over you. And the only things that have power over you in your life are going to be things that you give your power to. What does this mean? So if you want to go around believing that there's something called black magic and that people can psychically attack you and they can destroy your life by way of energy, they will, and they can, if you believe that. Okay. And this has happened to me before as well. So really getting a new mindset here and trying to shift your thoughts into that there are no, like, there's no entities out there trying to attack you. However, there are human beings that have psychological damage that definitely don't like the light that you shine. So they're going to come for you energetically or even physically. They might start, messaging you or whatever it is. Or if this is in a workplace, they might, start mocking you, laughing at you, whispering loud enough about you for you to hear it, but for it to not be a personal attack or something like that. So strengthening your aura so that you are not so easily brought down to their frequency is going to be very important. And all the things that I mentioned, again, eating root vegetables was really helpful for me. Just remembering that they can only attack me with what I believe they can attack me with. This is a very huge and monumental shift you're going to make in your life. So anything that you believe, including millions of dollars, okay, whatever you believe has power over you does. That's it. That's it. It's all your mind. Every single piece of this that I'm talking about here is in your mind, and your mind starts in your gut. So you're needing to heal that, and also making sure that your brain has enough nutrients to operate properly. Okay. Staying connected to the earth, which is where we get a lot of the energy and the nutrients that we need. And then, of course, consuming as much of, nutrient dense foods as you possibly can at this time. And remembering that nobody has power over you unless you give them that power over you. Okay. I hope that makes sense for you. I am going to leave it there, guys. Hit the like button if you've made it this far, and I will see you in the next reading.